Hey everybody, Sharon here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in Tunic, going for the Your Body is Restored achievement. This is to return to your corporeal form after turning into a ghost. You're going to turn into a ghost towards the end of the main story. However, you do not necessarily have to recover your body in order to beat the game. So to get this particular achievement, you need to make sure you do so. So this is going to be the point of the story that you would normally turn into a ghost. After you get all three keys, you're going to want to bring them back to the golden door from the start of the game. Now, if the golden door happens to still be locked, even though you have all three of the keys, you are going to want to use this little speedrunning trick in order to bypass the door. It is going to require that you have the ice dagger as well as the grapple. Once you have those, make sure you have them equipped, and then just make sure you go down the stairs, past the save points, and then make sure you look for the slime enemies. Make sure you try to pull the biggest one over upstairs, and then lead them over to the golden door. You're going to do that little trick where you try to have them touch the door, hit them with the ice dagger to freeze them, then use your grapple to pull yourself towards them. That should knock them behind the door, and then while they are still frozen, just make sure you try to use your grapple on them again. That should pull you through the door, allowing you to bypass it if it is locked. And that should give you access to the main temple regardless of the door being locked or not. So make sure you try to take advantage of this trick if you do run into this problem. Whatever the case, once you actually do get into the main temple with all three of the keys, you're going to want to slot them in the middle area. Of course, this is all going to be part of the story. You would normally have to do this in order to get access to the final boss. So just make sure you take care of that. You're going to place one in each of the three slots in each one of the corners right here. So that's going to be the red key, followed up by the blue key, and then finally you're going to have the green key. Once you do have all three keys slotted, you should have access to the final boss fight whenever, so you can go for the game's ending right now if you really want to. However, in order to get this achievement, we are going to have to go a little further, so make sure you do keep that in mind. Also, you won't be able to get the game's good ending without finding all of the manual pages first anyways, so might as well just continue on from this point and then move on with the story. Whenever you are ready, make sure you leave the temple. You can either take the balcony out or you can take the front door out. If you end up getting stuck again because the door is locked, you can always use your grapple to grapple onto the tuning fork up here in order to make a clean escape. I am going to recommend once you get out onto the overworld, you head up here anyway, so you can open up this shortcut, which is going to give you quicker access to the eastern side of the map from the save point. So make sure you do take care of that whenever you can. Now, the next step in our journey is to turn into a ghost, but before we do, we are going to need to take care of a few things in order to make our time as a ghost as easy as possible. And of course, what this is going to mean is you're definitely going to want to have every single fast travel station unlocked. So make sure you try to take care of that before you attempt this next step. So make sure you hit up your local fast travel station, and then once you get to the fast travel hub, make sure you double check that you have all of the squares lit up. Again, super important if you want to have as easy of a time as a ghost as possible. Once you are ready to turn into a ghost, make sure you hit the start button, go into accessibility, and make sure you turn off the no fail mode under the assist, and then make sure you get back into the game. This is going to allow us to be able to die, which we are going to need to do against the final boss in order to turn into a ghost. Hit up the middle fast travel station, and that's going to warp you into the final boss room. Make sure you go up to it, and then just make sure you hit the A button to start the fight. As long as you don't have all of the manual pages, you're going to start the fight like normal. Now, instead of trying to defeat the boss like normal, which would just lead you to getting the bad ending anyways, you want to make sure you have the boss defeat you. So just make sure you let them smack you until you run out of health, which should go by pretty quickly since you have super low health in this world. And then once you do finally go down, you're going to respawn, and then the game is going to turn into nighttime, and then you are also going to be a ghost. Now, once it is nighttime, you should have access to some areas that are normally inaccessible when it is daytime, so make sure you do take advantage of that. Once you get up to your feet, feel free to turn on the no fail mode assist in accessibility if you don't want to die. So make sure you do take advantage of that if you are using it to get through the game. And then once it's back on, we don't have to worry about turning it back off ever again since we don't need to die from this point onward. So from the starting area, we're going to head forward and then up to the steps. We're going to take a right once we see them, and we're going to head in the direction of the graveyard. So just make sure you follow this until you hit the corner, and then instead of taking the ladder down, thanks to the ghost world, you should be able to cross the bridge. And then once you get here, make sure you activate the obelisk if you haven't done so already. Take the ladder down and continue following the bridge and the rail into the graveyard until it wraps around here. Then just make sure you keep following the rail. Once you are a ghost, the gate should open in the graveyard. So once you get past the save point, you should be able to head further into the graveyard. Keep following the rail until you get to the next obelisk and make sure you activate this. And then we're going to need to activate one more in order to get access to the cathedral, which is going to be where we need to get going next in the story. Unfortunately, we can't take it straight from here, so instead of turning left, we're going to need to go around by heading into the mountains. So just head this way and then just wrap around the mountains until you come up the other side. And then once you are on higher ground, just make sure you head down, and then you should be able to find the third and final obelisk to get the cathedral door open. You are going to need a free hand in order to activate the last obelisk, so make sure you do your best to clear out any of the enemies. But once you do, just make sure you activate that thing, and that should give you access to the cathedral, which we're going to head to next. Once we are inside, we're going to have a little bit of a dungeon crawl, which of course is going to end with a boss fight, so make sure you try to get through this as best you can. The dungeon crawl itself isn't going to be terribly long, and the boss fight is going to be a little bit on the chunky side, but nothing too bad, especially with the assists on, so make sure you do take advantage and then try to trudge through this the best you can. So once you finally get the ladder activated in the middle of the cathedral floor, we're going to get access to the basement. Then we're going to start the multi-level boss fight, so make sure you try to get through this the best you can. Make sure you try to run the gambit and survive as long as possible, defeating everyone along the way, including the big guy in the middle. And then once everyone's taken care of and all of the statues are gone, we're going to unlock our hidden chest right here. And then inside is going to be the prize for beating the cathedral dungeon, which is going to be the dash ability, which thankfully is going to make traversing the game a lot smoother. You should also get the achievement for beating the cathedral, so make sure you take advantage of that. It's going to be for a 10 gamer score. Once you have that taken care of, we can leave the cathedral by heading down and then using our dash to get across this part. And this is basically going to take us to the exit of the cathedral, which is going to be down here in the water. Make sure you take the ladder up, and then we're going to start the process in order to recover from being a ghost. So in order to get our body back, we're going to need to find these things. They're going to be the hero statues. There's a total of 6 in the game. So the first one's going to be given to you right here as a freebie as soon as you exit out the cathedral after the boss fight. Just make sure you hold the A button in front of it. It's going to take you to this area. Just head up the steps and then dash across, and then just make sure you reclaim whatever the hero statue is going to present you. Each one of the hero statues is basically going to give you one of your stats back. So make sure you try to get all 6, and then you should be good to return as a physical body. So now that we have the first one taken care of, we're going to head back the way we came, back down the staircase, through the teleporter, which should send us back to the bottom of the cathedral. Then we're going to need to leave this place, so make sure you try to navigate through the graveyard and then get back to the overworld. Once you are there, we're going to start tackling the other 5 hero statues. Normally, you could attempt another go at the final boss if you want to. However, in order to get your stats back, you probably definitely want to try to go for the rest of the hero statues. So we're going to hit up our local fast travel station, which is going to be this one right here. And then we're going to use it in order to get to the other hero statues way quicker. So once we're in the fast travel hub, you should be able to use your dash to get to the main part of the hub. You should have access to all of the fast travel stations that you have previously unlocked, with the exception of the West Garden and the Quarry. So we are going to go to the upper right one first, and this is going to take us over to the Eastern Vault. It's going to put us in the boss room. So we're going to do a little bit of a backtrack, so just make sure you follow the rail going this way. And then that should take us out to the front of the Eastern Vault. Just make sure you keep following the rail until you get back into the Eastern Vault Forest. Once you are here, you want to make sure you turn, and we're going to head in this direction right here. And then we're going to keep going straight. The hero statue is going to be at the end of this watery area, so just make sure you keep following the path forward. You shouldn't be worried too much about enemies. Of course, we do have the assists on, so we don't really have to worry about dying. But the statue is going to right here. Just make sure you do the same thing like you did before. Hold A and then make the teleport once you are in this part of the world. Dash across to reclaim whatever stat is going to be offered to you, and that should be number 2 out of 6. Once you have that one claim, just make sure you dash back and then make sure you backtrack back to the teleporter and then take this back to the statue. Then we're going to backtrack all the way to the fast travel station. So just make sure you retrace your steps. And then we're going to fast travel back to the hub and then work on statue number 3. This one's going to be located at the Quarry, but again, the Quarry fast travel station isn't going to be active even if you do have it unlocked. So we're going to try to find the shortest way there, which is to head to the fast travel station over underneath the old house. From here, we're going to go up, and then we're going to take the ladder up to the side of the windmill right here. Then we're going to dash back to the starting save point. So make sure you try to navigate over here. Once you are over here, having that shortcut unlocked from earlier is going to allow us to get to the eastern part of the map way quicker. You don't necessarily have to take this way, although it is going to be the quickest way. Use your dash to get over here, and then make sure you head all the way up here, which is going to put you at the top of the overworld. Take the series of ladders up to the tippy top, and then just make sure you go through the mountain pass to get to the quarry. That's going to be the fastest way to get there from where we were. And then once we get to the top of the mountain, just make sure you take the pass right here to get down into the quarry. And then we're going to have a long walk down to the quarry monastery, which is going to be towards the bottom. So once we are here, just make sure you take the ramp down, and then we're going to go mountaineering a bit down the spiral staircase and then across here. A couple of quick dashes should lead us to the monastery save point. Make sure you go around here and then take a left into the monastery door. Once we are inside, we're just going to follow the rail, and then this is going to take us over to a locked gate. We are going to want to try to unlock it if it's not unlocked already by flipping this switch right here on this staircase. Make sure you do so, and that should allow you to progress further in. And then we're going to head on into the next room. So back down the stairs and then into the newly open gate. Once you are in this area, we're going to be in this little storage room. We're going to have a little bit of a mini boss fight, so make sure you get ready for that. The screen's going to turn dark, and then you're going to meet a familiar face who you have already seen in the background at the cathedral. So make sure you try your best to take care of them. It's a pretty challenging fight, which was a big reason why we went for our HP stats first, but nonetheless, try your best to get through it. Of course, if you are playing with the assists on, you should be able to get through this without worrying about dying. And then once you take care of it, we should be able to head further into the monastery. Make sure you go up the stairs, and then our statue is going to be right here. Make sure you make the teleport into the hero statue area, and then we're going to do our normal thing. Head up the stairs, and then make sure you claim the stat, and then that's going to be the halfway mark. 3 out of 6 of the statues taken care of, and then we can move on to work on statue number 4. This one is going to be a super long walk back, so hopefully you have the patience for this. The first part of the journey, of course, is going to be the backtrack back to the overworld because we don't have a fast travel station to work with at the quarry. So try your best to get through the monastery and then back out into the quarry. Then just make sure you take the way back up to the mountain pass. And then once you are here, we're going to take the long walk down the mountain back to the overworld. And then once we're in the overworld, we're going to take the long walk back to get to the starting area. So basically an entire sequence of going downhill to go uphill to go downhill again, but once we are finally back at that first save point, we're going to start moving on to our next statue, which is also going to involve a ton of walking because we don't have access to a fast travel station at this area, which is going to be the one in the West Garden. So make sure you go left and then down the stairs once you get to the windmill, go past the fast travel station under the old house, and then head down the ramps to the waterfront. Once you are here, make sure you look for the staircases in front of the fountain and then take this down. Make sure you turn right here, and then we're going to need to head over here. Use your dash or the grapple to get onto the bridge, and then once you are here, we're going to need to head in to this area. This is going to be this room. We're going to use our dash to get across here, and that should allow us to continue to follow the rail into the entrance of the West Garden. Thankfully, once we do make it here, the game is going to be kind enough to put the statue right next to us. So just make sure you dash across the water right here and then get back onto mainland. You're going to take this staircase up, and the statue is going to be right here. No major dungeon crawl or anything. So just make sure you make the jump over into this area, and then make sure you grab your next stat. So that should take care of statue number 4. We're going to be 4 out of 6, aka 2/3 of the way through. So it's going to be back out to where we left off, and then it's going to be another long walk back through the overworld. Once you are there, you want to make sure you look for any fast travel station. The closest one is going to be the one underneath the old house, but you can use the one at the starting area if you go too far. Nonetheless, just make sure you get to the fast travel hub and then make sure you hit up the library fast travel station, which is going to be the bottom right one. That should put you in the fast travel room. You want to make sure you head out into the library lobby, so just make sure you leave by heading down the pile of books into the circular hallway and then down the ladder into the lobby. We are going to have another mini boss fight sequence, so make sure you get ready to take care of those once they do pop up. But hopefully, you are playing with the assist if you're having too much trouble with the combat in this game. So just make sure you head down the staircase, and then you are going to need to defeat these two knights right here. So there's going to be one on the right side. In order to start the fight, just make sure you smack him a few times, and then he should come to life. Make sure you take him out, easy peasy with the assist, and then just do the same thing for the one on the left. So make sure you take care of that, and then once you take care of both of them, it's going to be on to the statue, which is going to be right on over here at the top of the lowest set of staircases. So just make sure you make the jump over and then claim your stat in the area like normal, and that should be 5 of 6, our penultimate statue, leaving us with 1 left. So once we take care of that, it's going to be on to statue number 6, our last statue. This one's going to be in the forest, which is going to be the area that we picked up the sword. In fact, it is going to be the same area where we found the sword. So if you forgot where that was because it was so long ago in the game, we're going to use the fast travel station in order to save ourselves the long walk. So use the fast travel station to get back, and then you can dash across here to get to the forest fast travel station all by its lonesome right here. So make sure you make the jump, and that should put you pretty deep into the forest. So thankfully we don't have to walk too far. From here, we're going to head right and then just follow this path until we get to this area right here. And then once we are here, we're going to head up the staircase. This all should look familiar because we went here in order to get the sword at the start of the game. If the gate isn't open, make sure you head up the stairs on the left, across the balcony, down the ladder, and then one switch flip later should get that thing open. And then it's going to be back up the ladder, back across the balcony, back down the stairs, and then through the gate, and then up one last flight of stairs in order to get to our hero statue. So make sure you trudge through that the best you can. I recommend taking out the enemies as they are going to be shooting you the whole time. But get over here to the statue, make sure you make the jump over, and then we're going to claim our 6th and final stat, which is going to recover our hero and then give us our corporeal form and physical body back. So once you do finally accomplish all of that, you should be good for this achievement. There it is. This one is going to be for 20 gamer score, and that's all there is to it.